Welcome back, race fans, to the Daytona Legends Road Course. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team, bringing you the A-Main, the U.S. Racing League Legends Car Weekly Series feature from the Daytona Legends Road Course. The race is scheduled for 30 laps. This is race 4 of the season. At the midpoint of the race, there will be a competition caution so that drivers can choose to take fuel or tires as they see fit. Should be an interesting race today, a strong field, and the points battle is tight. Let's have a very quick look at the points as they run today. Keegan Sabilo holds the lead over Aaron Johnson by a single point. Jared Epker and Nate Spomer tied for third, 4 points back, then a 16-point difference between Sabilo and the fifth-place runner, Don Fisher. Behind Fisher, it's Blake Crane, Riley Goodwin, Mike Matherly, and Jim Love. Those drivers separated by a total of 7 points. In the 10th spot, it's Keegan Sabilo at 72 points. Just behind him, Eric Sellers at 70. A tight points race could very well get tighter as we watch the event today from the Legends Road Course. Let's have a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the 12th spot, right there in the back, that is Aaron Johnson in car number 00. Johnson choosing to take an EOL. It's his first time racing on the road course, on any road course, as a matter of fact. So he chooses to take an EOL penalty. In the 11th spot will be the 15 of Caleb Gillick. Gillick, racing with the Johnson iRacing team, also will be starting in the back. The next row up, and starting in the 10th and 9th spots, will be the 000 of Luc Desjardins and the 32 of Eric Steele. Next row forward, that would be in the 9th and 8th spots, would be the 17 of Larson Parker and the 16 of Nate Spomer. Starting the next row forward would be the 007 of Mike Winter, and to his inside, that'll be the 21 of Mike Matherly. Just in front of that set of drivers will be the 77 of Sabilo and the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall, your fast qualifier and the fast practice time, but due to the inversion, he'll start in the second row. And up front, it will be the 13 of Blake Crane, and next to Crane, the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Should be an outstanding race today. Excellent drivers on the speedway. Ready to watch as they take on this Legends Legacy Road Course, trying to run 30 laps on a fairly challenging speedway, especially for first-timers. We've got a number of first-time road course racers with us today, so we'll see how they run on the Legends Road Course. Riley Goodwin in the 27, Blake Crane in the 13, Sabilo and Nuttall, those 4 cars very quick during practice. Practice times really, though, show just how fast Quentin Nuttall was. Nuttall running a 45.877. He and Sabilo, the only drivers to crack the 46 seconds barriers, about a half-second difference between them and the third quickest practice time of Nate Spomer. Should be an interesting race today as we are ready to watch the Legends cars as they take on this tough road course. Pace car is in. Green flag should be out anytime. The green is out, and we see that Blake Crane hammers the throttle. He gets a nice jump. Looks like Quentin Nuttall got just a little sideways. He comes to the outside, Sabilo to the inside. Larson Parker also looking to the inside. And at the 13 spins, there's a crash. Parker collected. Nuttall gets involved. The 21 of Matherly involved. Lots of cars go around there. Blake Crane having a little bit of trouble out front. It will be the 27. It looks like Matherly spins again as he's trying to get back underway. So a little bit of action at the end. Out front, it will be the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Sabilo running second. Winter in the 3rd spot. Nuttall 4th. Spomer 5th. Johnson, a beneficiary there, starting in the 12th spot, moves up to 6th as he makes his way through that accident. Riley Goodwin with the lead. He is pulling away slightly from the 77 of Sabilo. Winter's in the 3rd spot. Quentin Nuttall running 4th. Nuttall was your fastest car in practice. Expect him to move forward. Behind Nuttall, we see the 16 of Spomer, then the 00 of Johnson. Just behind Johnson, that's the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele running in the 7th spot right now as Riley Goodwin pulling away, running a nice smooth line. It looks like maybe Sabilo is closing in now. They come into turn number 1. Let's go ahead and put that racetrack up so we can kind of see where everyone is running on the speedway. The 27 is your leader. That's the green dot up in the right-hand corner coming through the S's now. Riley Goodwin with the lead as we see the 21 of Matherly is in the pits. Matherly has pitted, probably to take repairs after that early accident. Goodwin in first, Sabilo second, Winter third, Nuttall fourth, Spomer fifth, Johnson sixth, Eric Steele in the seventh spot with Desjardins in eighth, Gillick ninth, and Crane rounding out the top 10. Really have about a 7-car pack running up front, as it looks like Nuttall has closed in on the back of the 0007 of Winter. Let's see if Nuttall is going to try to make a pass. We can zoom in onto this pair of racers and watch as Nuttall and Winter battle. Quentin Nuttall making his way by. We're 3 laps into a 30-lap event. Quentin Nuttall trying to pass the 007 of Winter. Nuttall now through the S's, and he's going to make that pass. They come out onto the front straightaway, now past the start-finish line. Nuttall has moved into the third spot. Out front, Riley Goodwin leads. Keegan Sabilo closing in on the 27 of Goodwin. A little internet latency issue there. Goodwin trying to hold off the 77 as Steele has moved past the 00 of Johnson. So Goodwin leads, Sabilo in the second spot, Nuttall third, Winter fourth, Spomer fifth. Those are your top 5 runners. A little gap from fourth place of Winter back to the 5th place runner, Nate Spomer. Out front, Goodwin is holding on to that lead 4 laps into a 30-lap event. Riley Goodwin doing a nice job in that white number 27. Goodwin currently holding that lead over Keegan Sabilo. Sabilo trying to find a way to close in. As we watch, it looks like maybe the 98 of Nuttall has closed in on the 77 of Sabilo. Nuttall has closed. We'll see if Quentin Nuttall can make his way past Keegan Sabilo. Nuttall looking to the inside. They come down the long straight into turn number 2. It's a little left-hander. Nuttall trying to find a way to get past the 77 of Sabilo. Nuttall really outbraking Sabilo into turn number 3. Sabilo back down onto the apron. Nuttall a little bit lower as they come out of 3 onto this long straight coming into the S's. Nuttall trying to get side by side with the 77 of Sabilo as they come into the S's, then onto the front straightaway. Nuttall goes past Sabilo, just giving Nuttall all kinds of room rather than forcing the issue. That'll move Quentin Nuttall into the second spot, and he's going to set his sights on the 27 of Riley Goodwin. We'll keep our eye on this action right here as Quentin Nuttall closes on the 27 of Goodwin. Quentin Nuttall, fast car in practice, fastest car in qualifying, and right now the fastest car on the speedway. We can see that Riley Goodwin leads, Nuttall's in second, Winter third, Sabilo fourth, Spomer fifth, Eric Steele in the 6th spot, Aaron Johnson running 7th, Luke Desjardins running 8th, Crane in the 9th spot now with Caleb Gillick rounding out the top 10. Quentin Nuttall closing in, trying to find his way around the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin trying to maintain that cushion between the 98 of Nuttall and himself. Goodwin through turn number 1, out onto that long straight into this left-hand dogleg turn number 2. Looks like Keegan Sabilo off the track a little bit. Winter spins, so we've got a little shake-up out back. Winter spins again. The grass pretty slippery there. That'll put Steele into 5th, Johnson into 6th. Mike Winter's going to drop back to 8th as we watch Quentin Nuttall in the 98 trying to close on the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin running an excellent race so far, 6 laps into a 30-lap event. Quentin Nuttall is closing. The gap between Nuttall and Goodwin is shrinking. Let's have a look at that time difference. Goodwin just under a second behind. Nuttall just under a second behind Goodwin and closing. Now closing another 10th as Quentin Nuttall is the fastest car on the speedway. Nuttall and Goodwin 4 seconds ahead of Sabilo. Then behind them it's a couple 3 seconds back to Spomer, Steele, and Johnson, with Desjardins 4 seconds back of Johnson. So the gaps, 1, 2, then a gap, then 3 through 6, then another gap. And after that, drivers sort of scattered as Mike Matherly is a lap down in 12th. Out front, Epker, Briggs, McDonald, and Tobert are out of the race. Out front, it is Goodwin in car 27, but Quentin Nuttall has closed to within 0.4 of a second. Nuttall trying to find his way around. Will he choose to try to outbrake Riley Goodwin, or will he hope to get a better drive off the corner and make a pass on one of these long straightaways? Goodwin looks to the outside, Nuttall looking to the inside as they go through the dogleg. Quentin Nuttall now looking to the inside as they go into turn number 3. Nuttall trying to outbrake the 27. Looks like he's going to maybe get that done. No, he does not. 27 of Goodwin drives in hard, trying to hold off the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. They're down the long straight chute into the S's. Quentin Nuttall has been very good through this short set of S's, but Goodwin really gets a run as they come back past the start-finish line. Quentin Nuttall trying to find his way around the 27 of Goodwin. Goodwin doing everything he can to hold off that charging 98. Goodwin now into turn number 1. Gets a little sideways all by himself. Nuttall goes on past as Riley Goodwin overdrives turn number 1. That's going to give the lead to the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. 77 of Sabilo going by Goodwin in the 27 as well. Then it's Spomer and Steele. Johnson following Eric Steele. He's currently in the 6th spot with Luc Desjardins in 7th. Let's have a look at how they run on the speedway. First car on the track is the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Behind Nuttall, the next car is the 77 of Sabilo. Sabilo currently in the 2nd spot, but he's nearly 4 seconds behind Nuttall. The next car on the speedway, the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin currently being shown in the 3rd spot. And behind Goodwin, we see the 16 of Nate Spomer. Spomer currently running 4th. Behind Spomer, that's the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele battling Johnson for the 6th spot. Johnson currently running in 6th in the white and orange 00. Behind Johnson, that's the 000 of Luc Desjardins. Desjardins currently running in the 7th. The next car on the speedway behind Desjardins is the 007 of Mike Winter. Winter running in the 8th spot. Remember, Winter very quick early on, had a spin, but has gotten back on the speedway and trying to make up ground. The next car on the speedway behind Winter is the 13 of Blake Crane. Crane with some damage to the right front. It looks like that may be slowing the 13 car down. Behind Crane, next car on the speedway is the 21 of Matherly. Matherly being shown 1 lap down in the 12th spot. Behind Matherly is Larson Parker in car 17. Parker currently shown in 10th, almost a lap behind. And behind Parker, that's the 15 of Gillick. Gillick looks like he's having some trouble as we watch Gillick go a lap down to the 98 of Nuttall. Gillick now the first car 1 lap down. Caleb Gillick currently being shown in the 11th spot. Quentin Nuttall holds the lead. We will have a competition caution at or about the halfway point. Lap 14, lap 15, we should have that competition caution. We are closing in on that event out front. It's the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall through the S's now into the fastest part of the speedway. You kind of hold your foot to the floor as you come through this section. And then down into turn number 1, one of the quickest parts of the racetrack. Braking begins fairly early. Nuttall doing a nice job running through. Drives in a little deep there. Gets that 98 car a bit high as he comes out of turn 1 now into this long straight chute before he gets into that left-hander, the little dog leg. Nuttall pulling away from Sabilo. He's extended the lead over Keegan Sabilo to 5 seconds. Sabilo's in 2nd. Steele in the 3rd spot. Aaron Johnson has moved up to 4th. With Desjardins 5th, Winter 6th, Crane 7th. Looks like Goodwin and Spomer have had some issues. They have dropped into the 8th and 9th spots respectively. Spomer now going past Riley Goodwin. Larson Parker getting past Goodwin as well. So Riley Goodwin having some issues. He's dropped from the 3rd spot. That moves Eric Steele into 3rd, Johnson to 4th. Desjardins now in the top 5 out front. It is still the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. We can see Nuttall closing in on a slower car. That is the 27 of Goodwin. Goodwin, the last car on the lead lap. He will be fighting hard to stay ahead of Nuttall and stay on the lead lap for this competition caution that will come out on lap 15. Nuttall is out front, that red, black, and white car, familiar to those that are regular watchers or participants in the U.S. Racing League Legends Car Weekly Series. Nuttall, brother to Jake Nuttall, that runs Legends cars at Colorado National Speedway. Leading here, past the start-finish line, now comes into turn number 1. We are waiting for the competition caution. It should come out anytime. We expect it at about the halfway point. That could be lap 14, 15, 16, anywhere in there. Right now, we are on lap number 14. And it looks like the competition caution is out. So the competition caution is out on the speedway. This will give the field a chance to bunch up. The Lucky Dog award should go to Caleb Gillick. If Gillick chooses to accept, Gillick can come back onto the lead lap. That also means that he'll have a bit of time before he's able to pit for tires and fuel. That might affect his strategy. Nuttall started in the third spot, moved quickly up front after pressuring the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Goodwin making a mistake in turn number 1, allowing Nuttall to go on by. Nuttall was pulling away from Sabilo, had more than a 5-second lead over that second-place runner when the competition caution came out. Eric Steele in the third spot as we watch the field catching up to the pace car. Johnson closing in the 00. He's in fourth, but well back. Johnson had fallen to about 14 seconds, maybe a little better, behind the 98 of Nuttall. Strategy here probably should be to take tires. The tires hold up fairly well, but 15 laps into a run, I would expect that everyone would be wanting to take tires. I don't think anyone will take fuel. The car should have more than enough fuel to make it to the end. Nuttall choosing to stay out. Looks like everyone else is choosing to go in. Sabilo is into the pits. The 32 of Steele following Sabilo, as does the 00 of Johnson. Looks like Larson Parker in 17 making his way in. The 000 of Luc Desjardins coming in as well. That is not Parker. That is the 007 of Mike Winter. Winter coming in. Looks like the 27 of Riley Goodwin coming in. Mike Matherly choosing to stay out. Looks like Nate Spomer also choosing to stay out. There is Larson Parker in the 17 coming in. Blake Crane looks like he has chosen to stay out as well. After we get through the pit stops, Quentin Nuttall will still be your leader. Keegan Sabilo will be running in the second spot. Eric Steele will be third, with Spomer fourth, Goodwin fifth, Johnson dropping back to sixth. Winter in the seventh spot, Crane eighth, Parker ninth, Desjardins 10th, then Matherly and Gillip in 11th and 12th, one lap down. This will be a single file restart rather than starting double file. This will be a single file restart after the competition caution. 14 laps to go as we watch the pace car lead the field. Quentin Nuttall holding on to that top spot. Again, Nuttall fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. He's turned the fastest laps of the race. Quentin Nuttall very quick at the Daytona Legends Road course. Nuttall is running out front with Spomer second, Goodwin third, Sabilo fourth. We are waiting for the pace car to lead the field back around toward the start-finish line to get this race back underway after a competition caution allowed for some of these drivers to invoke a little bit of pit strategy. The lights are still on the pace car. We're at least one lap yet from green as we watch the field beginning to get in line. Out front, it's Nuttall, followed by Spomer, then Goodwin. Keegan Sabilo in fourth. Eric Steele fifth. Johnson in the sixth spot. Behind Johnson, that's Mike Winter in seventh, then Luc Desjardins in eighth. Blake Crane ninth, Larson Parker in 10th. Of those 10 cars on the lead lap, behind them it's Matherly in 11th, Gillick in 12th. Those two cars a lap down. We will have at least one more lap to green. The pace car lights are still on, so we'll go one more time around. 13 laps to go. Caution laps do count in the U.S. Racing League Legends Car Weekly Series. We can see Gillick working to catch up to the field. Caleb Gillick just now coming into the dog leg as the rest of the field comes into the S's before coming out onto the front straightaway. I would expect the lights will go off on the pace car this time by pace car leading the field past the start-finish line, and the lights are off. So the lights are off on the pace car. We'll expect the green flag next time by. Restarts at the discretion of the leader. Quentin Nuttall will determine the pace of the restart of the race. We will have 11 to go when the green flag flies. 11 laps will remain when the green flag flies. A little gap between the 32 of Eric Steele as Johnson and the rest of the field look like they're trying to go past the 21 of Matherly. No, Matherly may be staying in line. Mike Matherly will be staying in line in this single file restart. Matherly allowing a fairly large gap between himself and the 32 of Eric Steele. Steele warming those new tires as we watch Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall, the class of the field so far today, out front. Pace car now through turn 3. Will come into the little dog leg. Pace car is in. Nuttall hammers the throttle, gets a really nice restart. He begins to pull away very quickly from the 16 of Nate Spomer. It's Nuttall, Spomer, Goodwin, Sabilo. Those the top 4, with Eric Steele running in the 5th spot. Quentin Nuttall through turn number 1 as we see the 27 of Goodwin look to the outside of Spomer in the 16. Sabilo also trying to close in. Quentin Nuttall holding on to that lead. Johnson has gone to the inside of the 21 of Mike Matherly. Johnson remaining in that 6th spot. Matherly, the first car 1 lap down. Johnson closing in, trying to find his way back into the top 5, but out front it is the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall running a very nice race today, beginning to pull away, extending the lead over the 16 of Nate Spomer. Also involved in that group is the 27 of Goodwin and then the 77 of Sabilo. A little internet latency showing up again as we see the 27 of Goodwin look to the outside. Now Sabilo to the inside. Let's see if we can't have a look at the battle here between Sabilo and the 77 of Riley Goodwin as we see Eric Sellers is also closed in. Nuttall beginning to pull away. Johnson dropping back as we've got 4 cars battling for position here. Keegan Sabilo had pulled to the inside of the 27 of Riley Goodwin. Sabilo closing again in turn number 3. He's going to try to find his way past, now dropping back as they come off of turn 3. Sabilo in harder. Goodwin out of the turn a little bit better. Eric Steele biding his time, trying to find a way around the 77 of Sabilo. The 27 of Goodwin trying to close in on the 16 of Nate Spomer. Those cars actually kind of hanging on here with the 98 of Nuttall. Your front 3 did not take tires, so those front 3 cars on older tires, we'll see if the tires as they come in make a big difference. We can see that Mike Winter has closed in on the 00 of Johnson. So Winter trying to find his way around Johnson as we watch the battle between Goodwin and the 16 of Spomer. Goodwin takes a peek to the inside. No dice as they come into turn number 3. Spomer taking the low line. Goodwin running a little bit higher. Eric Steele has made his way past the 77 of Keegan Sabilo. The 27 of Goodwin now looking to the inside of the 16 of Spomer. They're coming through the S's, a very high-speed part of the racetrack. 2 cars touch, take the outside wall. That's going to collect the 32 of Eric Steele. Johnson splits his way through there, as does the 007 of Winter. Wow, what a crash that was. No cautions today. There are no cautions in this road course race. Riley Goodwin and the 16 of Spomer get together. They collect the 32 of Eric Steele. Out front, it's the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Keegan Sabilo running second. Aaron Johnson now into the 3rd spot. Mike Winter in 4th. Looks like Winter is trying to close in on the 00. Winter going past Johnson. That will drop Johnson back to 4th. Johnson looking back to the inside as they come off of turn 3. Winter just a little bit better off the corner. Mike Winter now through that dog leg as they come back out onto the front straightaway past the start-finish line. Winter just better through that part of the track, pulling away from Johnson. Mike Winter trying to close in on the 77 of Keegan Sabilo, just ahead of Winter. That is Sabilo in the 77. Sabilo trying to find a way to close on the 98 of Nuttall. Nuttall well out front. Quentin Nuttall with a big lead over the rest of the field. Mike Winter pulling away from the 00 of Johnson. Johnson sits in the 4th spot. Keegan Sabilo will ride along with the 77 to see if he can close in on the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall out front. Sabilo through that little dog leg back out onto the front straightaway. Sabilo just touching the rumble strips as they come through both ways, now down into turn number 1. Keegan Sabilo trying to close on the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Sabilo out of turn number 1. Really doesn't look like he's gaining much ground. Let's have a look at the gap. between these drivers. Sabilo 2.75 seconds back. He might be gaining slightly on the 98 of Nuttall. Nuttall out front. Sabilo second. Winter 5 seconds back in third. Johnson 6.5 seconds back in the fourth spot. Then it's Larson Parker in fifth. Crane sixth. Desjardins seventh. Eric Steele eighth. Those cars on the lead lap. Mike Matherly, the first car, one lap down, in the ninth spot. Behind Matherly, it's Spomer, then Gillick. Riley Goodwin has retired from the event. Goodwin will finish up in the 12th spot. Sabilo is closing. He's gained about 0.3 of a second on the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Sabilo off of turn number one. Now getting ready, off of turn number one, getting ready to head into the dog leg. Still getting used to calling these road course races. But Sabilo closing, he's gained another 0.3. Keegan Sabilo gaining about 0.3 of a second a lap on the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Sabilo having the advantage of newer tires. That tire wear may be becoming an issue for the 98 of Nuttall. Mike Winter is closed to within 4.7 seconds back. Johnson staying even about 6.4 back. Parker looks like he might be closing in just a bit on the 00 of Johnson. 4 laps to go. Keegan Sabilo running in the second spot. He's closed another couple of tenths. Keegan Sabilo now 2.2 seconds back, now 2.1 seconds back. Don't know if Sabilo is going to have enough time to try to find his way around the 98 of Nuttall, but he is definitely closing. Parker also definitely closing on the 00 of Johnson. Mike Winter closing as well. Keegan Sabilo trying to find his way around. Can he catch the 98? Sabilo's actually dropped a tenth as he's fallen back slightly from the 98 of Nuttall. Sabilo heading through the S's now. Gets sideways. Keegan Sabilo gets 2 wheels onto the apron to get the rumble strips turning him around. Sabilo back to the infield, and he's caught in the pits. Keegan Sabilo caught into the pits. He's going to have to exit and head back out onto the straightaway. That will give the big lead back to the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall well out front now. Nuttall will be in the first spot. Winter moves up to second. Johnson will be running third with Larson Parker fourth. Johnson now pulling away, not Parker, Crane. Johnson pulling away from Blake Crane. Crane currently in the fourth spot. Quentin Nuttall with the lead, 3 laps to go. Quentin Nuttall through turn number 3 now, heading out into the dog leg. There will be 2 to go this time by. Quentin Nuttall with a 5-second lead over Mike Winter. Johnson's close to within about 2.5 seconds of Winter, but Winter well out in front with 2 laps to go. Only a mistake's going to cost Quentin Nuttall this race. Nuttall just needs to be nice and smooth and hit his marks as he makes his way around the speedway. Nuttall out of turn number 1 will be heading down the straightaway into that left-hand dog leg. Looks like Mike Winter got a little bit sideways. Johnson closing just a bit on the 007 of Winter as we watch Quentin Nuttall in the 98. Nuttall heading into turn number 3. That's a 180-degree right-hander, then out of that into a long straightaway before hitting that quick set of S's that brings you back onto the front straightaway. Quentin Nuttall headed into those S's now. We can see that the 15 of Caleb Gillick is just ahead of that 98. I don't think Gillick's lap car will come into play. Nuttall will go past the start-finish line, take the white flag. This will be the final lap for the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Nuttall into turn number 1. Again, internet latency becoming an issue. Nuttall out of 1 onto the long straightaway before hitting that left-hander. Quentin Nuttall with a 5-second advantage over Mike Winter. Johnson 7.5 seconds back. Then Blake Crane nearly 11 seconds back, followed by Sabilo, Parker, Steele, and Desjardins. Those are the 8 cars on the lead lap. The 98 of Nuttall comes out of turn number 3 for the final time. He'll sweep through this quick set of S's for the final time as well. Nuttall through the S's comes back out toward the front straightaway. He will take the checkered flag. The win will go to the 98 of Quentin Nuttall. Second place will be the 007 of Mike Winter, with Johnson coming home third. Crane will finish fourth, and Larson Parker will round out the top 5. Excellent race from the Legacy Daytona Legends Road course. Stay tuned. We'll have just a few interviews with our top 3 finishers, Nuttall, Winter, and Johnson, rounding out the top 3. Interviews coming up in just a moment. That will shake up the points battle as well. Remember, before the race began, Keegan Sabilo held a 1-point advantage over Johnson. Epker was third. Spomer fourth, with Fisher and Crane rounding out the top 6. Goodwin 7th, Matherly 8th, Love, Gillick, and then Sellers your top 11. After this battle, Aaron Johnson will take over the points lead. Johnson now with a 2-point advantage over Sabilo. From Sabilo, it's 9 points back to Spomer, then Blake Crane 6 points back, with Riley, Goodwin, and Mike Matherly tied for 5th. Caleb Gillick's going to jump up 3 spots into position number 7 with Jared Epker in 8th, Nuttall 9th, and Fish Fisher rounding out the top 10. So we wait for drivers to move into the victory lane here for some interviews.
Hey, Quentin, this is Aaron Johnson. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I got you.
Congratulations on a great win. You were the class of the field the whole day, fastest time in practice, fast qualifier, won your heat. Do you run a lot of road courses?
I never used to, and in another league I run in, we do half oval, half road in the Legends, and just really started picking it up the past couple months.
Well, you ran a fantastic race. So what's the secret to going fast at a road course? I've heard people say that sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. What would you say?
I would say if you don't feel like you're going to wreck 90% of the race, you're not going fast enough.
That's outstanding. So what other leagues do you run in?
I'm running this. I run We Are Legends. We just had our season championship last night, and every once in a while I'm able to catch a TDR race, but with the kids, the Saturday afternoons are a little tough for that one.
Do you, outside of iRacing, have you got any experience racing in the real world?
I did one. We did a pro rental series, so I've actually only ever raced a car on a real track once, and then my brother's a legend car driver out in Colorado.
Oh, really? Who's your brother?
He's Jacob Nuttall, so he runs the 14 Pure Queen 14 legend car out at Colorado National Speedway.
Yeah, I know that car well. Red, white, sort of maroon, white, and black. I've watched him run quite a bit. Didn't know y'all were related.
Oh yeah, and I love to beat him on iRacing because it drives him crazy.
Well, you sure did a good job whipping up on us tonight. Really nice run. Congratulations again. I'll go over here and we'll talk to Mike Winter a minute. Mike, have you got your ears on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, first off, I need to apologize to you. I got into you last week and turned you around, I think. I apologize for that. I certainly didn't mean to. Good run tonight. Nice job working your way back up to second.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough race. I'm usually not too good at road courses, but after time, made a little mistake on the first corner, took a step back, took a breath, and just kind of tried to take it a little safe and see what would happen. And, well, here we are.
It was a really nice run, really quick and smooth. Looked like you were maybe closing just a little bit on Quentin at the end. Were you pushing pretty hard there the last 4 or 5 laps?
I was really trying to get it, but I just didn't have enough at the time. And he came out on top, man. And congrats to him.
Do you have any experience running real world race cars or working on anything like that?
I used to have a buddy when I was a kid. He used to run at the local track. He ran outlaw late mods, and unfortunately, after I, graduated high school, he passed away. But the only other, experience I got is racing RC cars. Pretty much, I've never raced a real car yet, but I'd kind of like to get into one of these for real. These cars are fun.
What was your local track? Give a shout out to that local track. Where was it, and what kind of racing did they do there?
So the tracks that I used to go to and still sometimes do, we have Spartan Speedway, which is now known as Corrigan Oil Speedway in Maine, and we have Springport Motor Speedway in Springport, Michigan. And they do everything from pony stocks all the way up to sportsmen's, which are, I guess you would say, like super late mods, only maybe a little bit faster.
Well, outstanding. You had a good run tonight. Congratulations on a really good job.
Hey, thanks, man. Hope to see you out on the track again soon, man.
Hey, Aaron, this is Keegan Spilo up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Loud and clear, Keegan.
Well, Aaron, you had looks like a strong top 3 run here tonight. Before we talked to you here earlier in the race, you told me you weren't a fan of road courses here. Take me through your night.
Well, I got to tell you, this is the first time I've ever ran a road course in a Legends car, and one of the things I did early on was just try to figure out what the line was going to be. I ended up backward a lot. I spun across. You can get a black flag here because you can spin across the pit exit and get an unsafe pit entrance if you spin out across the pit exit. I learned that the hard way. So I was pretty frustrated early on. I just kept watching the fast guys. When I got a chance, I'd watch the line Quentin ran, watch your line, watch Mike's line, watch Nate Spomer. He ran a great line all night, and I learned a lot just kind of watching where you guys were getting in and out. And then after that, my goal was stay out of trouble, and it seemed to work out.
That's awesome. You had a great race, and I'm sure you learned a lot with running the Legend cars for the first time in the road courses. I know you're having a great season right now in the point standings right now as we wait for those to update. What are some other racing leagues that you run weekly that you get your experience from?
My primary league is the Tyler Daniels Racing League of Legends that runs on Saturday mornings. I got involved with that league because the timing worked out for me. I'm on a DSL, and so at high demand times I have a hard time racing. And then the work schedule works out. So that's the primary league. I also run their Xfinity League. And then from time to time, I'll just kind of watch for a hosted race. So instead of running a league, we'll watch for something that we can host. We do a lot with Cotterman iRacing team. I think Jed and we've got something in the works. Hopefully we're going to have an announcement for everyone here in the next couple of weeks as well.
That's awesome. And what's your connection to real racing if you have one? With working on cars or going to a track or a local track with your favorite driver or even driving them?
I could talk racing forever. I went to my first race when I was a week old. My uncle ran late model stock cars in southern Missouri for 20 years, and then about 30 years ago, my cousin and I built a car, and for about a decade we ran super stocks and then Grand American Modifieds and moved on up to late model stock cars and we won 13 championships in 7 years. And Ramey got killed in a racing accident at Speedway USA in Bolivar, and so that kind of took the joy out of it. But I went back a couple of years ago. I started working as a technical inspector at Colorado National Speedway, and that's helped bring some of the joy back. I would tell you that I got to see a guy named Larry Phillips when I was a kid, and he's still, in my mind, the best short track asphalt driver I have ever seen. I watched him race with Dick Trickle and Bob Seneker, and then I watched him run on dirt with Freddie Smith and Billy Moyer, and he's just one of the best racers I've ever seen. And right now, the guys at Colorado National, I can't have a favorite because I'm a tech guy, but there are lots of people that I really respect. I respect the Hiltons. The Wall family does so much for that track. The guy that runs the 51 Modified, I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but he also runs in the Legends cars, Kyle Clegg. A lot of great drivers there that are really fantastic to watch. If you get a chance to come to Colorado and watch a race at Colorado National Speedway, you should take it because you'll be really glad you did.
That's awesome. And I got one more question for you here. You got anyone you want to thank here that helps get you to racetrack, any sponsors and stuff like that?
Well, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Jim Love and to Luke Desjardins. I'm trying to get it right, Luke. One of these days I'll get it. Those guys really helped the Johnson iRacing team go in terms of providing support. Caleb Gillick needs a shout out. He helped to put our webpage together. And then, I think we have a really good support network in TDR and Tyler Daniels Racing. And quite frankly, you guys at U.S. Racing League and Quentin, Keegan, you've done a really good job of kind of helping us out when we need someone to step in. So there are almost too many people to thank. I'm sure I forgot somebody, and if I did, I apologize. Send me an email, and I'll try to remember to get it right next time.
Awesome, Aaron. Thank you, and congratulations on your good run tonight.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Looking forward to next week.
Well, that's going to do it from the Legacy Daytona Speedway Legends Road Course. Aaron Johnson takes over the point lead, and Quentin Nuttall takes the win. For the Johnson iRacing team on the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.